Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of The Gavel, featuring attorney Anna Toledo. Ms. Toledo is the senior attorney and general counsel to Targeted Justice. She has a background in constitutional and environmental law and is an experienced litigator, including 2 cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's Ms. Toledo.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to have you here. It's been a very hectic week, and I'm ready to tell you all about it. Welcome to episode 34 of The Gavel, a podcast dedicated to bringing you the news relevant to our quest for freedom from government weaponization. For those of you that don't know, if it's not good, you know what? You come back. But please help me defeat censorship. And remember to share, like, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already to our channels in Rumble and in YouTube, and also following me in Facebook, because from now on, anytime I do a live, I'm going to be doing it from Facebook. You don't have to ask me as a friend. You can just follow me. Before I go into this week's news, I want to bring you one of the verses from Psalm 106 that says, "Blessed are those who act justly, who always do what is right." Many of us, as victims of government weaponization, the criminals have tried to entrap us on many occasions. Many, unfortunately, have been entrapped because you didn't see it coming. The truth is that we have to always be very vigilant, and it's not to be paranoid, but we have to be extra cautious, because that is what is happening. And I picked this specific verse, "Blessed are those who act justly," because towards the end of this podcast, I want to talk to you about something really important that is going on that all of you should be aware to protect yourselves. Okay, so as many of you know, yesterday I was in the January 6th 5th anniversary march. There was a lot of people there. There was, like somebody wrote to me, I was surrounded by angels and demons all over the place. I'm just gonna play this little clip.
So it was important for me to come here today and see so many of these patriots that have been targeted, and they don't know it yet. They don't know about the CIA involvement in destroying their lives. So that's what I'm here for. And I look Anna doing what she came to do here, because once they know the entire operation, they have a voice to expose it, which is what we want. So even if you don't agree with them, we have to be all in solidarity, because we're all targeted. This is not about political parties. This is about being victims of the CIA criminals that have destroyed our lives.
So it was very interesting, because a lot of the interactions I had, and this I have to be grateful to my dad that he taught me not to be shy. So I just go up to people and talk to them, and what they do have, the commonality, the common thread, is the gang stalking. It seems to me that most of them are still in that handling code 4, even though they were entrapped. And I haven't coughed all day, but criminals had to do this to me. But most of them are very well aware of the gang stalking, although they are not aware of the rest. They're not aware. I don't think that many of them are aware of the directed energy weapons, even though they're subtle. So now, I did meet very crucial people for this fight. The criminals are really upset. And you know what? I love it. I love it, criminals, that you're so upset. So let me just see if I can show you the images that from yesterday. Okay, here's the first one. Open, there we go. Okay, so this is the first one. This is Professor David Clemens from Frank's speech. He's very well aware of what's going on, and you don't know what's going on with the video. Yeah, well, what I think is going on with the video is that these criminals are messing with it. Let me just try to close some of the other windows that I have to show you, and just be a little patient with me. I'm so sorry, because I had this other window open to show you later. Is Scott Adams has said, and this was just so brilliant of him. He has said it was the senators that did an insurrection to accuse the ones that were peacefully entering and were asked to come in by the police, to call them insurrectionists. But the insurrectionists were the ones that didn't, we have now Arctic frost. We now have Judge Boasberg telling people, telling AT&T, Verizon, all those people, no, you cannot tell the senators that Jack Smith is spying on them because they can delete the evidence. So now you have all of these events of insurrection against, to call these people insurrectionists. Audio is good. Thank you, Lighthouse. Anyways, so we're just gonna take a little bit more time to do this. So anyways, the important thing about yesterday is the following. Number one, I met a lot of important people that I'm networking with for one common goal. And one common goal is freedom from government weaponization. By the way, criminals, you're not stopping me. You can stop this little StreamYard, but you cannot stop Analog Anna. So talk about troop, your days are numbered. Because now that I'm here, there is no stopping me. Yesterday, I was severely attacked with my implants all over. It hurt, but the pain only fueled my desire to continue marching and to continue meeting people. So you know why you mess with the wrong Anna, okay? Now, another important thing is that these people, as I have told you many times, they do have the ears of people in government, in crucial positions in government. And that is very important because we all have, as I said, one common goal. I talked to many of them, and their consensus of the people that do know, and I'm not going to reveal anything, is that there is an avalanche of good things happening. There is an avalanche of good things happening, okay? So, it's happening in baby steps so far because, as you know, Donald Trump has encountered a lot of lawfare and a lot of obstacles, particularly because the employees, as I'm going to discuss later, the employees in the DOJ are still deep state criminals. Most of them, like 80% of them, are people that prosecuted the J6ers and people that are deep state operatives. So, Rand Paul yesterday, as I was there in the march, I saw that he's taking baby steps towards releasing the information about the weaponization of the government against average Americans. The problem is he's talking about one lady. And let me just show you this, that he released. He did another short release yesterday of some findings that he did in the context of the government weaponization. And so here you have them. Okay. These are his conclusions. He states that in one of his tweets, he stated, a free society cannot tolerate a system in which programs and authorities intended to keep the public safe are instead weaponized against them due to mere suspicion. Does that sound familiar? So then he released these additional findings from his ongoing investigation about weaponized watch listing by the federal government through documents obtained by the FBI. Pay attention to this because the FBI has released to him documents that we are seeking in our Privacy Act request. Please remember, the Privacy Act says you have a right to see your files in the agency and demand correction. If they say bad things about you, you have a Sixth Amendment right, a Privacy Act request right to request correction. And this is why this is so important that you do it. So he says that the FBI criminals targeted Christine Crowder, a single school teacher and the wife of an air marshal. And it's part of his Quiet Skies investigation. And his flash findings are that the FBI opened the investigation into Crowder based on a tip from a former friend. That sounds so familiar. Yeah, how many of you, your former friend put you on the list, right? Initial findings indicated negative geolocation, facial recognition, and criminal history or extremist activity. Sounds familiar. So the FBI acknowledged a need to interview Crowder. They never did. They said that she entered illegally the Capitol, but she didn't. She was in the White House. And so even though they didn't arrest her, there was a DOJ criminal ready to prosecute her. And guess what? Like Brianna Morello I'm going to show you later. She's denouncing him. He's still employed at the DOJ. A guy that wanted to prosecute this teacher that had no criminal predicate, no terrorist, nothing. And he wanted to prosecute her. This is why the whole J6 situation is so important, because many of those people, they weren't doing anything wrong. They were just targeted by the FBI criminals. And you're going to see here something really interesting, which is that some of the criminal predicate is being anti-law enforcement. Well, you know what? If because I say FBI criminals, you're going to say that I am a terrorist. You are wrong, because we have a huge list of who are the real criminals. We have a huge list of all the crimes that the FBI criminals have done. Long list of that. So bring it on. Anyways, so one of the good things for us that has come out of this, that was declassified by Rand Paul, was the following. Let me show you the PDF. This is hold on. Let me show you this. PDFs. So they have the nomination form here. Wait till it's processing. The nomination form for the terrorist screening database. Well, they have it here. And this is one of the documents that we want to ask to obtain from, it's processing. The criminals need to, okay, here it is, add to stage. Okay, so this document here, is the document that Rand Paul declassified. And then you have here, at the end here, you have her watch list nomination form. So you can look at this in the here, let me show you. Here it goes. The entire watch list nomination form, here goes. And it starts with, for example, it's what the Lighthouse had taught us. That is the form that it's not authorized by the United States government printing office, FD 930 source. And it's a raw text file in there. And it has it even has there, look at it. It even has a request type, investigation type, derogatory information, handling code support. Notice she was placed in handling code 3, which means that she was overtly categorized. We do the whole 9 yards. It had Sentinel case list, Sentinel identifier list. This is why we put, in your Privacy Act request, you have to ask for everything in the Sentinel, not just in the central record systems. And it has there the person, identity. It even has silent hits in there. So this is one document that when the criminals say, no, we cannot show it to you. Excuse me, you already showed it to a woman who is not a criminal, who is not a terrorist, and you declassified it for this investigation. So this is what we're going for. This, just like they showed the Tulsi documents of when she was being monitored by the air marshals, this is the same thing. If you give it to her, you have to give it to me. Otherwise, it's an equal application of the law. She has no more privileges than me because I'm an innocent American and I am not a terrorist and I don't meet any terrorist criteria. Okay? So there you have it. That's really very good for us. Even though he's only talking about one person, remember, this investigation is still going to go on until February. We're going to do a formal submission. I have been trying to reach Mr. Paul, but he has gatekeepers there that, they already laugh when I'm walking there. Like, here she is again. But you know what? One day I will get to just bump right into him. Now, the next news I wanted to cover for you is Brianna Morello. She's also targeted. She gets a lot of gang stalking. Her car gets crashed while parked, and she gets people following her, but she doesn't get it. Well, I don't criticize her because for 20 years I didn't know that all these horrible things that happened to me were because I was targeted. But she still doesn't get it that she's targeted. So here's the thing. She's been writing, this is a letter she wrote to the DOJ attorney. Kenneth Kurter is the guy, the deep state guy that wanted to prosecute that lady, Christine Crowder. And so Brianna wrote to him and said, Christine Crowder was wrongfully accused of being at the Capitol, and you were insisting on prosecuting her despite lack of criminal predicate or terrorist reasonable suspicion. Now, Brianna asked a very important question. Why is Rand Paul's office protecting this man? And you have to ask yourself, why hasn't he been fired? Why hasn't? Because if I was Crowder, I would sue him personally. And even though prosecutors have qualified immunity, it's not absolute like the judges. This is a criminal that wanted to prosecute a lady that she's even half body paralyzed. And he didn't care that there was no criminal predicate. That does not meet the qualified immunity standard. It has to be thrown out. Anyway, so Brianna Morello is asking the right questions. Why were you insisting on prosecuting this lady when you didn't have any criminal predicate about it? So this is really good. At least we have a couple of good journalists that are asking the right questions. And Brianna Morello is one of them. So I urge you to follow her. Now, other ones that are doing really, really great um, show of solidarity is the people at the federal air marshals. They have been denouncing that there are two other criminals there that have not been removed by Christine Owen. And these people are deep state people. They were given even better salaries, and she's being like denouncing this left and right, and nobody's paying attention. And these are the people that know, because these are the federal air marshals that saw all the criminality happening from TSA. So and the weaponization of the Quiet Skies program. So these are very good whistleblowers, and they are sounding the alarm on these two criminals. And she says the federal air marshals have reported that the Senate concluded that these two guys, Brian Belcher and Serge Potatov, helped weaponize a federal law enforcement agency against Americans. Specifically, they, alongside the FBI, put a disabled woman, who is Crowder, who attended a Trump rally, on a terror watch list. And even though they know that these people helped in the weaponization of the government with the Quiet Skies, they gave them promotions and better salaries. Something's wrong with this picture. Until we get rid of all these deep state criminals, nothing's going to happen. Now, I know that many of you don't care about what happens in Puerto Rico, but I do, because I'm from Puerto Rico, and I do want to tell you why you should care, because I think that this program was originally put on steroids in Puerto Rico. And what happened was that yesterday was Three Kings Day, and on the eve of Three Kings Day, this man stabbed to death his little boy of 5 years old. And when the police asked him, he said, "The devil made me do it." And I am absolutely convinced that this program is completely on steroids. So this is one more that we have to add to the list of the mind-controlled people. And we just have to convey to these representatives that innocent people will continue to die unless the illegal CIA operations in Denver are stopped. Stephen Miller already admitted they were illegal operations. We already have Arctic Frost, which was concocted by these criminals. We already know, because Tom Fitton is talking about it, that the CIA was involved in the pipe bombs that were being planted in the Republican committee and the Democratic committee. Their claws are all over the place. And in Puerto Rico, since nobody is looking that way, this man, that little boy, died. And I'm sure that it was the CIA criminals that stabbed that little boy with a V2K. It's, all the crimes that I told Dr. Sally Priester, I said, as soon as I heard the news, I said, "Sally, I'm absolutely certain that's V2K. And just next day, he said, "The devil made me do it." Anyways, I'm going to go. Thank you. I want to thank you for your patience, because today it was a really rough start, and the criminals, I guess they decided to let me do the show. But I want to show you something which is really important for our community, and it's the following. It has come to my attention that there are TIs that are promoting violent conduct. Okay? And I don't know if these are two people that work at the Space Force whose house was vandalized and it was set on fire. And then they did a GoFundMe, and guess what? I think they've made twice the amount of money that they had calculated that they needed. So you know what? The criminals did them a favor. I'm not condoning violence, and I am saying to you the following. If you are surrounded by people that have a violent narrative, guess what? The FBI is listening to your conversations. The FBI is listening to all of your text messages. They're reading them. Guess what they're going to do? If they didn't have any reasonable suspicion to call you a terrorist before, now they do. Do not let any mind control TI even chat with you regarding any violent conduct, because we do not advocate for violence. What I do advocate is that we were going to sue them, and we are going to take their very last sock and the very last screw from the tires of their cars. We are going to make them broke, and we're going to humiliate them, but all of it through legal means. Absolutely no violence. That is the worst punishment they can have. The utter humiliation in society that they earned money by torturing little girls and kittens and women and men and grandmas. They are not going to be able to live. They're going to have to move outside of the United States. But I don't want you to fall prey either to plans or to mind control TIs that are advocating for violence. And DAJ Chris is on this with me. He's going to be writing about it, because if you are in a conference call where they're talking violence, get out of it and don't go back. If you are in a chat or in one of these Facebook pages where they advocate or even talk about violence, get out of it, because they are going to use it against you, even if you didn't make the comment, because of your associations. Be clean and be straight. We are going to win this fight. Even though they use dirty tricks, we're not going to use dirty tricks. We are going to win square and fair and square. So please don't do that to yourself, okay? If I had fallen prey to all the entrapments that the criminals did to me, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't be here fighting for freedom, okay? Now, so please, that's why I read Psalm 106, verse 3. Remember that. Blessed are those who act justly, who always do what is right. Let's all do what is right. Now, just to finish, I want to thank you, all of you that have supported my mission here. I work every day for liberation. I am not telling you the plans I have for the next couple of days or the next week, because I don't want the criminals curtailing them. But I can tell you that I do have really good things in store for this week. Also, I'm not going to talk about what's happening. I'm not getting distracted with the Minnesota and the Maduro and all of that, because I'm laser focused on just one thing. And even though I believe that the Maduro good things will come. I do know, as a Puerto Rican, that there, I have met a lot of Venezuelan brothers and sisters that lived miserable lives because of that man. And I do know that Marco Rubio wants to liberate the Cubans from the communist regime that they have had to endure for decades. And because he's Cuban himself and he escaped Cuba. So no, we don't want vengeance. We don't want we don't want vengeance, but justice will be done. And remember, God said, vengeance is mine. It's not ours. It's not for us. What we will have is justice. Justice, freedom, and justice for all. Okay? So please send your Privacy Act request if you haven't. I already have a Colorado group. I have the group here in the Washington, Virginia, Pennsylvania area. We're going to be filing lawsuit. No, I'm not the CIA. I'm not CIA, and you can just get out of my little chat here, because I am a Puerto Rican, and most of my best friends had to escape Cuba with the clothes on their backs. And I saw them work their butt off and become, study and work hard. So, thank you for telling on yourself that you are one of those mind controlled TIs or a plant. I'm not going to tolerate badgering by anybody, because you know what? I am putting my life on the line. Not that they're going to kill me, but they really attack my implants anytime I go out. And you know what? It's not going to stop me. But I'm not going to tolerate BS from people that purport to belong to this community, because it's just unacceptable. So if you're one of them, please abstain from it, because now you're banned. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And